To begin, I want to encourage you to see what it's like to just sit. Of course, you may have decided to lie down or stand or have some other posture. So whatever posture it is, it's welcome. But I'll say sit because generally that's what people are doing in their formal meditation practice. Doesn't mean it's the only way or the right way. So taking a moment here to really just allow yourself to sit without any particular technique. Without any expectation of what should be happening or should not be happening. Totally getting off your own case. Nothing you have to do here. We may be here to meditate, but what if we just completely put aside any idea of fixing ourselves, improving upon ourselves, checking something off the list that we think we're supposed to do because it's good for us. And instead we see what is it like, even just moment to moment, to just sit here. Eyes can be open or closed or cast downward. There's not a right way here. It's about what is right for you today. But if you find that your eyes are kind of jumping all around in a sort of compulsive way, or you're finding your eyes keep getting drawn to your phone sitting nearby, something along these lines, you might decide to close them just to help support this just being, just sitting. Not as simple as it sounds for some of us to just be, to just sit. There can be a fair amount of judgment that arises. There can be a sense of drivenness or impatience. There might be strong emotions that arise. There might be a kind of icky, like, I don't want to sit here kind of feeling that arises. It also might feel great or just neutral. It really doesn't matter where on that spectrum you are. The invitation is to be where you are. And if you're finding that there is a lot of judgment or narration of what's occurring with this just sitting, you might bring in some phrases to help support the just being. You might consider, I am here. And it is now. I am here and it is now. It's okay to feel exactly how I feel in this moment. It is okay to feel exactly how I feel in this moment. And if those phrases are helpful, or maybe there's other phrases that are more personal to you that are helpful, you can continue to use them. If they're not helpful, don't. And eventually, even if you are using them, you might let them go and see, what is it like now to be here? It's like this right now. And you may notice that parts of self arise and want to do, want to figure something out, make sense of something. If you're navigating some negative self-talk, some judgment, that might come up. You might just find yourself pulled off into whatever's happening next today or tomorrow. And if any of that is the case, that's what's happening right now. You are here and it is now. And so there's this sensation, and there's this thought, and there's this sound. And there's this response to this thought, and there's this response to this sensation or this sound. And all of this experience is arising and passing. It's different now than it was 5 seconds ago. And you notice I'm not asking you to employ some strong concentration skills here. I'm not asking you to zoom in on any one particular experience and deconstruct it. That's a wonderful practice, but it's not what we're doing right now, unless that's what's right for you right now, because of course you get to choose. Instead, we're just being with whatever's here. And in that way, there's nothing that shouldn't be. It's all just what is, including thoughts that come up about that statement I just made. Now, all this just being might feel really good, or it might sort of transcend good or bad. And you do you. So keep exploring in whatever way is in alignment. But if the just being is activating for you in an uncomfortable or even disturbing way, which it can be, then you might pendulate now to something that feels good. And we might use that concentration skill that can be developed in meditation practice to focus on the thing that feels good. Now, this could be something in your body, could be an area that's particularly relaxed or where there's some level of pleasure or positive emotion available. But the body isn't always the most comfortable or safe place to go, especially if we're feeling kind of a bit in a hyper or hypo arousal nervous system wise, if we're feeling some anxiety, or if we're feeling some physical or emotional pain, it might be that the body is not the place to pendulate to. You might move external, taking in sounds. There might be sounds that are pleasant and feel good to listen to, or just even sounds that are neutral. You might also open your eyes and experience resource that way, taking in something visually that's a positive, pleasant, or neutral experience. You also might use your beautiful mind to create positive or pleasant mental talk or mental image or both. It might be as simple as, I'm here with you, you're loved, you're safe, I see you. It might be some sort of abstract imagery that just feels really good to look at, or slightly good to look at. If you have various modalities that you use in practice or in therapy that is about cultivating positivity or safety in the mind, you might utilize those. Working with some younger part of self, giving them love, visualizing some sort of divine presence. So the options are somewhat endless about where you could go with this resource practice that some of us have pendulated into. And so we'll take a moment here with the emphasis on feeling as good as possible. And maybe a few percentages at a time, moving out of an activated state and into a more resourced space. And you might spend the rest of the practice hanging out with some version of resource in the mind or the body or externally. And that will be a very good use of your time. And if you continue to return to and return to and return to resource, you're going to find that you feel more resourced by the end of the practice. Possibly you even feel good. So that might be what you use the rest of this time for. Or you might begin to let go of this targeted, sort of focused attention and come back to the just sitting. The place of everything is actually completely okay. If you're sitting here and you're experiencing this meditation, you're okay. None of the things that happened before are happening right now. The things that broke your heart or left you feeling traumatized or impacted your entire nervous system or shaped the addictions and anxieties and mental health challenges that you experience. None of that's happening right now. You're here and it's now. And none of the things that might have happen in the future are happening right now. Not one. And so actually, in this moment, everything is okay. And you don't have to do anything for everything to be okay. It just is. You don't have to deserve everything to be okay. It just is. You don't have to be good enough. In fact, that doesn't even apply here and now. There's no way that you could be not good enough here and now. And perhaps you may start to get curious about what is it that is here and now, and that is perfectly okay no matter what. What is this that is here and now and is absolutely okay? And the invitation I offer is to rest into that. That which is here and now. And perfect. What is this unconditional resource that I'm resting in? This here and now that is never going to leave you. This here and now, this perfect, this completely okay, that has always been and will always be here and now. And one last invitation here. What might it be like to soften the abdomen? Soften the heart. Soften the jaw. And just be here, now, completely okay. And we'll slowly transition out of this practice. Doesn't need to be jarring. And what if this transition out of the formal practice doesn't change the fact that you are here and it is now, and everything's okay. Thank you so much for practicing with me.